Say, kids, what time is it? PDR tool time. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Mike Toledo, along with Vince D'Alessandro. We are missing two of our partners, John Hiley and Daniel Grom. Daniel Grom's like a fart in a windstorm. He says he's going to be here, and then he's gone. So I don't know where he's at. It's now we got some late people calling me too. This is Raw Dog right now, guys. And
Raw Dog.
John Hiley is probably asleep right now, East Coast time. So we're gonna get right into it. What up, dude? What's up, man? What's
Hey, Mike. How are you, my friend?
Then I gotta say my same old. What's the crack-a-lackin'?
Well, here it is. It's almost nighttime here on the West Coast with Mike Toledo and Vince D'Alessandro live.
Yeah, we're holding it down, SoCal.
We're holding down the SoCal, PDR
and
SoCal.
The rest of the world, the PDR Nation world, PDR Tool Time, all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
Hey, so it's almost 4th of July here. This show has been, either way, we'll listen to it. It's just after 4th of July when they listen to it, but we're recording before the 4th of July. So what's your plans? What have you done already?
What have I done already? I've got some beer in the chest without ice. And
the Yeti cooler?
I got what?
You got a Yeti cooler?
No, I don't have a Yeti cooler. Those are pretty cool. I think I'm going to have to bust out some money.
No way. Not cheap, Vinny.
Although maybe if I take a hail card to the guys.
John Trice?
That's right. John Trice over at Dent Guys. He's giving out free Yeti coolers. With
did you see his ad?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I created the ad for him.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I create. He asked me to create the ad for him. I said, okay, yeah, I'll whip something up real quick for you.
John and Cliff busting out hail cars and giving out Yeti coolers.
Dude, I was like, damn, that thing is nice. He goes, yeah, I got one for Christmas. He's a lot like you, John Trice. A lot like you, dude. I would never buy one of these, but one was given to me, and I just said, wow, this thing's nice, man. So
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. When you guys asked me to come on this podcast, you know that I don't buy a lot of tools, and I kind of make do with what I have. But you guys have convinced me to buy a handful of tools. And I do use the word loosely, handful, because it has been about 5, maybe 6.
All right. Well, we're going to get into that, like, how you've been coping through your career, back in the day with Dent Wizzy. And but what I'm going to be doing for 4th of July, I think I'm going to be, I'm going to reserve a spot. We're going to camp out Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night, and reserve this big spot in La Jolla Cove. If anybody's been to San Diego, everyone kind of knows what La Jolla Cove is. And we're about 50 feet away from the fireworks, man. So we get to see all that cool stuff and whatnot.
Now, when you say camping out, you're staying overnight or just for the fireworks? Oh,
yeah,
good.
Yeah, because if you try to get there on a Monday, on that 4th of July, forget about it.
Oh, I hear you. Well, what we do, Sunday, we'll be down at the beach. I live about 10 blocks away from the beach, so I jump on my bike, either motorcycle or bicycle, and cruise down there and throw the kid on the back and have the wife bring everything down. And then we kind of, because of parking being so terrible at the beach, we just shuttle back and forth on a motorcycle. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, there you go.
But Sunday's the big fireworks display down here in Long Beach in the Bay. We're about 100 yards away we set up about 100 yards away from the barge that's right in the middle of the bay, and the fireworks are right above your head. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure by the time people are listening to this, they're probably thinking about what they did on 4th of July, or what they didn't do, or what they shouldn't have done, or what they shouldn't have done.
Of course, or what they're recovering from.
Yeah.
But I usually use the 4th of July. It's on a Monday, so that'll be my nursing day. I'll be nursing myself back to health to get to work on Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Did you hold on a second. Did you plan your day for Tuesday, or you kind of had a light day?
So far I've got it a little bit light. I have a couple insurance jobs I'll have to deliver. And that's about it.
Okay. So. All right. Well, I ain't working.
You're off to Italy on Tuesday, aren't you?
Yeah, see.
You're on your European. No, not C. Is it C?
Well, they say C. I think they say C is yes.
Yeah, I know. I just.
Where's your Italian at, man? Hey, speaking of this, I'm sure a lot of you guys know, but I downloaded Google Translator. And so I talk in English and I translate to Italian, and it'll speak Italian for me, and then it'll beep back. And so when they answer me, it'll translate what they said in Italian back to English to me.
Dude, if you use that in Italy, you're going to get beat up by some Italians.
Hey, man. Hey, I don't care. I'm freaking better than me sending me somewhere I don't know, man.
Yeah, but then again, you're a big boy. You could hold yourself.
Yeah.
You could hold your own.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing. Okay, guys. So I got to tell you a quick story before we get into our tool thing. So I decided I went to Ultra Dent Tools, and Ultra Dent Tools. Steve Hoff goes, "Hey, Mike, man, have you gone? Let's go eat some Thai food." I said, "Fine, let's go." You know, he treated me to Thai food, and right next door was a Thai massage, and he goes, let's go in here, man. I was like, I don't know, man. It's like in the middle of the day right now, you know. He's like, no, you got to get one of these massages, you know. Anyways, he walks right in. Hey, Steve, how you doing? You know, yada, yada. And so he books his appointment. And he's like, man, you got to go. Well, long story, I didn't have time to go that day. But it got my head so much, I said, you know what? Let me go get in real quick at this Thai massage place. There's this girl about 4'9". I swear to gosh, man, she worked me like a rib, dude. I mean, not that way, you guys.
Not like you work your wife
dude,
with barbecue sauce.
You guys like get your muscles worked and like you never had before. Oh my gosh, man, I had muscles that were sore I didn't even know I had. So it was really cool experience. But you guys got to check that Thai experience.
You massage. Do. You know, we have one at the end of our street. And I thought it was a happy ending massage place. So I stayed out of there for a year. And the front, there's neon lights and Christmas lights and real cheesy, Oriental tapestries everywhere. I'm like, that's a happy ending place. I'm staying out of that place. I can't have a neighbor seeing me going in and out of there. So, I see my neighbor coming out of there. I'm like, hey.
I felt like I had more energy. Like, sometimes when you get a massage, you feel like you want to go to sleep. You're tired. Dude, I felt like I was really, really, awake. So anyways, okay, guys, enough of that massage and stuff. But anyways, Vince, going back to some tools now, I'm kind of like reflecting and looking back on, excuse me, my tools that I used to carry. I used to carry like 10 or 12 tools and get the job done pretty much 90% of the time. And there was times where I wish I had more tools, but I made do with what I did. How did you end up doing your dents for so long with what? How many tools? Literally, I know you could count the less than 10 fingers. What?
No. I honestly had a handful of leftover tools from Dent Wizard, and I got done dirty when they fired me. I didn't know I was being fired. They told me, hey, Vince, show up. We have a meeting at the office at 8:00 in the morning. So I show up at the office, and they literally had a taxi cab outside. I'm like, oh, that's strange. And they walked me in, said, here, sign this. We're letting you go. And that taxi is going to take you home. And at that point, they took my truck and tools and everything. And I won't get into the whole schematics of why I was fired. But at that point, I only had my second grade tools that I never used with Dent Wizard left over, and a few doubles that I had, the main tool, like a Ford tool and a flat bar. So I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? I just got through buying a house in LA, marrying a girl with a child. I'm like, shit, I got like all these tools that I don't use on a daily basis. So I busted them out, and I made do with what I had. I was driving limos at night to start my company from the ground up. Because really, I was already six years into my dent career, and I'm like, what am I going to do? So I'm driving limos at night to supplement my income to pay for my family and for my house. And at that point, prior to that, I was a graphic artist at a printing company, and the technology had changed in 6 years. Everyone had Photoshop at that point, and there's the art of graphic arts were kind of dying out. So anyways, I'm like, what am I going to do? I found Ultra Dent tools. I still had a handful of A1 tools that I hadn't used that was issued to me from Dent Wizard. And I found Dent Gear. And this is before I knew you, Myke. So I thought it was convenient that Dent Gear was right next to Ultra Dent tools when I went down to Riverside to pick out some tools. And the couple first tools I grabbed was a double bend interchangeable tip. And from there, I went over to Dent Gear and I bought their copycat Dent Wizard tools that they had, that I knew that I was fresh in my head, that I used on a daily basis. They had a small Johnson. They had a large Johnson. They had similar tools that were copied from Dent Wizard tools. So I felt right at home using those tools right away, Myke.
Well, we're going to get into, why don't we're going to get into how we met. We should let people know how you and I became friends and got to know each other. But before that, I'm going to talk about, tools I used to have and what I used to use. My stepdad would get tools and he would go, we had this welder guy named Red, and he would make us, PDR tools. And he was actually pretty dang good at it. He'd make the bend and grind down. We'd spend a half a day with this welder guy, and he'd have a bench grinder and a belt sander and all this other stuff. And he would, put stuff together. I was thinking in my head, man, we should just start a little tool company. But my stepdad was like, no, stay small, keep it all. But I remember half our wires weren't even shaved. They were still round, and you're trying to stick a tool down the panel, and you're making a big snail trail going down, trying to get to a dent in the Dodge Daytonas. Those friggin' Chryslers were just monsters.
Oh yeah.
All those
races.
Yeah. All those American cars. They're just nuts. Anyways, I kind of just made do with, and there was no glue pulling either. You drill from the bottom, drill from the side, take the panel out, do whatever you had to do to get to the dent. Wasn't very, I wouldn't say proud of how I got to the dent, but yeah, I definitely think that the tools have come a long way since then.
You got paid.
We got paid. I don't know about the way I'd really do it. I would definitely not do it the way I did back in the day. Of course, everyone's been there. If they've been an OG, they've been there.
Yeah.
It was, hey, either get the dent out or don't get paid. But just don't try to rough up the car too much.
Sure. Well, you came from that. We came from two different backgrounds, where I was classically trained by, a training facility that had 30 other guys in it. And, Dent Wizard had their own training facility, where you learned from one-on-one with your dad. You learned all his bad behaviors and bad techniques, and had to correct yourself from all those and develop your own style. Yeah,
I think one of the things that I learned from my stepdad when he trained me is, he was very good at what he did. But again, what I've told many people, it's not, a good tech can be a damn good tech, but it doesn't qualify him as a good trainer. And unfortunately, he wasn't. But going back to Dent Wizard thing, we bring up Dent Wizard a lot, but shoot, man, the Dent Wizard was the pioneer of back in the day of PDR tool companies. I was terrified of Dent Wizard coming to my lots, Oh man, that's a big company that come over here. I'm done. I was actually thinking of, man, maybe I should just join them if I can't beat them, That was my motto back then. But you guys never really touched into the retail in the West Coast. Maybe a little bit, but you didn't try big time in there.
No, not at all. And that's why when I left them, that's immediately what I went to was retail, because I knew they couldn't touch me if I stayed out of their accounts and I didn't go after their prospects. I was scot-free, and that's why I never got sued. I never got a letter, nothing. That, and I had a class action lawsuit against them. But
yeah, but you guys, you got trained really well. You had 2 months of training. Is that correct?
Yeah, 2 months of training, and then there was a apprenticeship afterwards. Now, the difference between me and like the likes of Tom Price and some other guys, I was a corporate technician. I was not owned by a franchise. So we got a little bit more special treatment because we were corporate employees, and we had extra training and levels of training that we had to go through for certification processes that regular franchisees didn't, because their franchise owners didn't want to pay for them to get extra training. one thing that you have to keep in mind, the Dent Wizard model back in our day, back in my day, prior to 2000, I was there before the first buyout to Cox. And it was a family-owned business. I owned my top boss was Kevin Beatty, and he was the greatest guy in the world, and he treated us well, all the technicians well, until it got bought out. But we were trained to fix quarter-size dents perfect and fast, and we were stuck in environments where we would have 100 cars lined up. And the only way we were making money with our percentages is to fix the dents as fast as we can and perfect. So that's why, we were a threat when we went into dealerships looking at independent guys, because they could not match our quality or our speed. We would get in there. They knew we were a big company that was respected. We showed up. We were clean cut. We drove nice trucks and blah, blah, blah. And we treated them right. We got in and out. And, that's the way, that was their motto,
Yeah. And we currently, you and I both know some really good guys who have become really good friends who are still in the Dent Wizard thing in the industry, working as PDR techs, and no knock on them, on these guys. I mean, they bust their ass for what they do, and they're good at that,
Sure. And that goes back to my motto, Mike. It's not everyone could be a business owner. There's a big difference between being a technician and a business owner.
I agree.
And dude, it drives me up the wall it's one of my pet peeves when I'm watching Facebook and some of the message boards and back in the day, people complaining about, oh, I had this customer, complain about this, or should I put lettering on my truck and have people bother me in a parking lot? Are you kidding me? You're a business owner and you don't want people to come and talk to you about PDR and growing your business and making money. And, that should never come out of a business owner's mouth.
No, I mean, I remember when I used to put pictures, I still do, but when I was on Doording.com, I got flack for that. Oh, why are you showing such big dents, Mike? That's all you're going to get. Okay, but that's what I want. I want people I'd rather have somebody give me something that might not be able to do. That means anybody from that type of dent, that big of a dent, all the way down to the smallest, because they know if I can fix the big ones, I should be able to fix the small ones. So, yeah, I mean, I know exactly what you mean. And just because you're a good tech doesn't mean qualify you automatically as a good business owner. There's two different types. You see these, why are brokers making more money than techs? Why is that? But they don't know how to push. Why? Because they're better businessmen than the techs themselves. Now, when you have a tech who's actually a very good businessman, you got a guy who knows how to make money, who's gonna be wealthy no matter what. Because or you've got to learn to get those skills, build those skills up as a tech. I know we're kind of going all over the place, you guys here, but me and Vince, we're kind of just doing our own thing tonight. I've got to leave to Europe pretty soon, and we're just trying to record some good topic stuff, some interesting stuff while you guys listen, and we're trying to just give you guys something interesting to think about. Yeah. But anyways, yeah.
But, and it's the same thing with Dent Wizard. The upper management all the way down to managers that manage lots and things like that, and technicians, they don't know how to fix a dent, but they're good managers.
Yeah.
They're good businessmen. They're good salesmen that goes out and gets the deals. And if you're not able to do all that, maybe it's time to wrap up your business and go work for someone to make a good percentage, and make a good living and not have to deal with a customer or
no, you make perfect sense. Then there's a lot of techs that just want to do that. Like, I just want to go show up, collect my money or collect the money and go home. I don't want to worry about, the advertising. I don't want to worry about having to fork out insurance money or, deal with all that. But then there's guys that's like, look, I want to learn. I want to get better at that. I want to know how to close deals and yada, yada. So, yeah. I definitely. And that's what it takes, though. You got to have basically soldiers that know how to do and maintain certain things in the business aspect. And if you want to run your own company, you kind of have to know a little bit about a lot. So
yes. And that firsthand, Mike, and you and I, we're both from the same type of breed. We eat, breathe, and sleep our business from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed. And thank God for my competition that likes to make a couple $100, $200, $300 a day and go surf at the beach with their dog and smoke a big fat doobie, because those guys are the guys that are not answering their phones and they're calling me.
Well, yeah, but they're happy. You know what I mean? So you can't, they're happy as long as they're making their own goals and they're not living beyond their means. I guess that it is what it is, right?
Yeah, that's true too. That's true.
So let's talk about how you and I became friends.
Yeah.
I have sucky memory though, but I just remember you calling me and saying, "Hey, I'm Vince from Long Beach and yada yada." So you kick it off right there, dude.
Well, dude, I don't think I think that might have happened, but I think you might have called me first. Say, "Hey, I'm Myke from San Diego, and we're not really competition, but I want to put your website up on my website, and you do the same for me and exchange links, and whatever you get, don't worry about it. You don't have to pay me anything." And I don't even know what year that was, Myke, to be honest with you. I would probably say 2002, 2004, somewhere around there.
I think it was 2004 or 5, something around there. Yeah. And I approached you and David from SOS Dent.
That's right. Yeah. And I think you were just touching on the whole multimedia aspect. And
I was so passionate about, I was more than passionate. I think I was just plain loco. Okay, I'm going to, you know why? Because when me and my stepdad, we went our separate ways, I felt like I was free. I felt like I finally can do what I've wanted to do, and I just felt like I had an edge on things because I was so internet savvy. I just loved marketing. So, and seeing things actually work. But yeah, I remember contacting you, exchanging links. And I think you even came down one time and helped me out. I remember that. I asked you to come down or whatnot.
Yeah, I was a little bit light on work, and you're like, "Yeah, well, come on down and take care of this handful of cars for me." And I showed up, and I'm like, "Holy crap, man. If this is the crap they're fixing in San Diego, I'm never coming down here ever again."
Yeah, but you know what? Now you fixed that with your eyes closed, dude. I mean, it's like
the stuff you gave me that day. No, I wouldn't.
Yes, you would.
I would still pass on.
No, you wouldn't,
dude. It was a Ford Ranger that looked like it was shot with a bullet
right
in the middle of the door.
Easy peasy, man.
and you're like, "Oh yeah, it's just a normal door ding." I show up. I'm like, "Jeez, what am I supposed to do with that?" Yeah. The paint's fractured. I take this to a body shop, And then you send me to Mission Beach or something. I'm like, all right, this is cool down here.
Yeah.
And the car, I forgot what kind of car it was. It was like a Nissan Pathfinder or truck, old school one. And this guy had been living out of it or something, man. And he was having parties on his truck. It must have been like when the Lakers won and someone danced all over it. Yeah, fix it, man. And I'm like, no, I'm not touching it. I wouldn't touch that with your tools.
He's like, yeah, man, come on, man.
We drove all the way an hour and a half to San Diego for nothing. I think I did fix one or two.
Well, I remember you saying, you know what, Myke, this is, I'll just stick in my town. If you got something for me over here, it is what it is. So I was like, all right. But let's go further, okay?
Yeah.
Remember this point where you go, dude, I'm going to get out of it. I'm going to get out of this PDR business. I'm going to go something else. And I said, what? What did I tell you, man?
I don't remember.
I said, no, you're not. I said, you are not going to get out of this business, man.
We've had that conversation so many times.
But nobody, the public doesn't know. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. Yeah. But every year I hit that funk and I call up Mike Toledo. I'm like, hey, Mike, I hate this business. I'm not making the money I used to. I should be averaging $800 a day and I'm only averaging $600 a day and blah, blah, blah. And I'm all cranky and ornery and hating life and missing my family in Chicago. And, just down in the dumps. I should be taking Zoloft or something.
Dude,
and you talk me out of it every year, man.
I do.
You talk me out of it.
You don't even get, that was the only year I really remember you going, now look at, you got a shop, dude. You got another, bumper repair business. You're killing it, man. It's just shoot. And look at David. Freaking David, SOS Dent, dude.
David SOS Dent. Yeah, he's got a full
dude. He's gonna be a millionaire pretty soon. I mean it literally, dude. He probably already is.
Yeah,
but that's another story. But dang, these guys that I actually just really just saw grow, man. And you, Vince, man, you just really just blew it up the last couple of years, man. Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, and thank you. And it's been a hard ride, and I think there always has to be goals, short-term goals, long-term goals, and you have to have close people like yourself. I consider you a really close friend to get you through those tough times. Yeah,
you got to have a close network system, people, a network.
Oh, that's the thing. For years, it was always, their competition. Don't talk to them. Don't even make eye contact with another dent guy. When it should be the exact opposite. You should be making contact with all your local dent guys. And a lot of people talk about other guys covering them when they're on vacation. And besides that,
I'll give you an example. Like, you're right, 100%. Like today, I got a call from Steve up in, I think he's near Shane somewhere, but up near past. Up in the LA area. So, and he goes, Myke, I've seen your work and blah, blah, blah. I've seen who you are. And hey, listen, I was wondering if you can take care of one of my customers. He lives in San Diego, but he bought the car from one of my dealerships and, that I service, and if you can take care of it. That gives you an example of networking. You don't have to be best buddies with people, but shoot, network with them, because there's opportunities right there. And same thing. Hey, I got a customer that's over there, and maybe you could take care of them. That's the great thing about that networking, and it brings opportunity to make more money.
And you have to leave the emotions out of it. Yeah. It's all about business. It's all about business. And I ran into this recently as well, where I have a detailer that I despise. I hate the kid. I think he does horrible work, and he works on highline exotic cars, and I think he ruins cars with his details. But he sends me work, and you know what? He's done me dirty a couple times, but I don't care. I still take his money, and he thinks he's getting one up on me, but really, he's not. I charge whatever I want, and because it's him, I'm charging double.
Yeah.
And I still get it, and it's all about business.
Well, it is. I mean, we'll take it for instance. Let's say you're in Tennessee and I'm in Georgia. Well, let's say you had a hail car that a customer came down to my area. Well, and I took good care of you. You knew I did good work. Well, what happens if it hailed over in Tennessee, and you say, "Hey, Myke, I saw what you did. Hey, listen, I'm going to return the favor. How about you want to come work for me and do some dents for me, some hail cars?" That's networking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or hey, you could have a guy like in the next county, and he gets hailed, and hailed is in his county, and he's flooded with work, and he doesn't have enough techs, and hey Vince, can you come over here and help me out? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it is. And remember Michael Hand in Denver? You know Michael.
Oh, heck yeah.
I had one of my buddies move to Denver, and he had a door ding, and before he was a buddy, he was a customer for many years. And he's like, "Hey, Vince, I'm out here in Colorado. I got a dent on my car. And what do I do? I say, "Hey, just go see Dents by Hand, Michael Hand. He'll take care of you."
Yeah.
And he showed up and fixed his dent immediately and didn't even charge him. He's like, "Oh, you're friends with Vince? All right, no problem." I remember Vince from MTE. And didn't even charge the guy. And that type of network, my customer got taken care of, and now he knows when he gets hit with hail damage or another dent, he's going to Michael Hand, and Michael Hand will take care of him and charge him accordingly, I'm sure, in the future.
Yeah, I like Michael Hand. I haven't talked to him for about a year, so in fact, I need to give him a holler. But I was out in Colorado, and he's such a nice guy. Asked me, "Hey, Myke, you want to come and do some hail?" And I said, "Oh, I'm already committed at this other place, but I'd love to work with you." But it looks like we're going to do that one day. But going into this, though, Vinny, going back to tools, what do you think? What decide? We're not going to talk about the cola free again. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what latest tool have you are using lately that you like? That
you know what? I was scared to death of these sharp tips, and Dave Streen.
Yeah.
Yes, Dave Streen sent us the samples.
Damn, I like that guy. Why do I like that guy so much, man? That guy's hard not to like, man.
He is really hard not to like. But Dave Streen, he's a straight up dude. The handwritten notes that he sends with with the tools and everything. He's an awesome dude. We should all be buying all those tools, not just because he's an awesome dude, but the tools actually are awesome.
I mean, he came to San Diego maybe probably about 4 or 5 months ago, and he said, "Myke, I'm in town. I don't mean to bother you, but could you have time to come and meet me for dinner around my family?" I said, "Sure, let's." We got married together. We went there and had dinner with him. He comes to my town and takes care of the bill. No, I got it. No. I said, no, let me take. No, I got it. Dude, and I'm talking straight nice guy. Didn't ask me for anything, didn't ask for any favors. We just told me his whole scenario. But going back to what you're saying, I'm saying the guy's a super nice guy. If you guys ever want to do business with the guy, I'm telling you, Dave Streen is straight up nice guy. So
yeah. So back to the tips.
Yep.
So he sent us a couple sample tips that were made out of stainless, and the stainless were really soft. But I cannot get away.
Vince, you are so funny, dude. Okay,
but those are just samples.
I know, and he already told us that.
He told us that ahead of time. Hey, they're super soft. They're stainless steel. They're just try them out before he starts making titanium ones, I'm guessing, or some other type of steel one that's going to hold up. But dude, I've bent the tip on this thing, and I still use it. I can't get away from it. I'm starting off creases with it, starting off dents with it now. And I was scared as hell. I'm like, oh, I can't use a sharp tip. I've always finished with the sharp tip. And here I am using a sharp tip to start off these sharp creases or sharp dents.
You don't know the new sharp tip is the new soft tip, dude.
I think so, especially with some of this high strength steel going on.
Well, high strength steel, like I just did a Dodge.
Aluminum.
I did a Dodge Ram the other day. Dude, they have that freaking backing. It's basically what is it? Dynomat with that aluminum backing and the sticky icky inside of it. You're not going to get that pit out without using a sharp tip. I'm sorry, you're not going to do it. You're going to dig a ditch and you're going to slip until you get your fingers on a sharp tip. And I'm almost about 60% of my tools now are sharp. And I have to agree. The sharp tips are definitely a really good benefit now.
They are. And, back in the day, back in Dent Wizard, when I first started in 95, they had issued us sharp tip tools and what looked like a blade tip. And they systematically went in and took them away from all us newbies.
Because you chewed them up.
Because I think people were chewing things up. Some of them looked like razor sharp blades, kind of like those crazy Russian tools, or not Russian, but Kaz's tools. They had a blade to them. I still got one. I held on to it, but they took them all away from us. I think people were chewing up the dents, and definitely the metal was different back in the 90s than it is now.
Yeah,
and I think some of these sharper tips, and it's not for the faint at heart. If you don't know what you're doing, please don't start with the sharp tip. But if you're a competent dent technician, you better have a sharp tip in your arsenal because it's making a huge difference right now.
Now, what's your technique on, let's say you got a ding on there. How are you hitting still the center with that sharp tip? Or are you going a little bit outside and getting it started? What are you doing?
Never. I'm still Dent Wizard taught. So I hit the center of the dent and spiral out. It's the same pattern as like a Cinnabon. Yeah. You hit the center. And you spiral out with your pushes, and you hit the center again and spiral out with your pushes and bring it up slowly. Yeah. That's the Dent Wizard technique.
Well, the the dent time technique is with lines, because you can't see the center. You can't see the bottom of the dent with lines right off especially a deep wood dent. Right. So technically what I'm doing is I'm hitting the outside, understanding where that tip's at really quick, but then I go into the center. I don't know if we're kind of shrinking that dent out, a little bit enough to where I can see the center, and then we hit the center. Now, when I'm teaching guys, I tell them to go this so slow that it just only looks like they're starting from the outside. I can tell them eventually as they get faster, they're just using the outside just to find, as a reference, to find where their tooltip's at and hit the center. Now the R4, the soft tip shall I say, that sucker, you can pretty much hit the center, lift it all straight up, switch the tip, go to the sharp tip, and just finish it straight out. So that's just one of my ways I teach it. But Dent Wizard and yourself and a lot of guys who use fog do hit that center and spiral out. Yep.
Absolutely. So, and you know what? As long as the end result is the same, I can't fault you for being a line guy.
But you're giving me crap so many times.
I will always give you crap for lines. I don't understand it. I
There you go. There you go. That's it. That's the main thing.
But the key thing is, I don't want to understand it.
Hey, there you go. You just want to keep bagging on it. So, yeah. We love our stuff though.
Yeah. So, let's move on to a tech tip, shall we? Do you have anything in the bag?
Well, you got me off guard now. Since you brought it up, you got to have one.
Okay. Well, we're approaching that time for tech tips. So I'm going to bring a tech tip again, which I thought was common knowledge, but we do have a vast array of technicians throughout the world that listen to this podcast. So I'm going to repeat something that I thought was common knowledge, but I found today that it isn't common knowledge because I had a 15-year technician call me asking me how to access a dent on a Bentley with double pane windows. And you and I know, Mike, double pane is a double pain in the butt if you break that window.
Yeah.
Maybe a quadruple pain in the butt.
Yeah.
So we've covered that on past episodes, but I don't want to break any window, let alone a Bentley window on a brand new Bentley. So I had to explain to him.
$1,200 window too.
Oh, easily. And I had to explain to him, and I'm going to explain it to you guys that don't know. You have to leave the window up 2 inches, at least 2 inches above the belt molding. Now, the belt molding is the molding at the top of the window where the window meets the panel. At least 2 inches up. My technique has always been a metal window guard and an air wedge. Now, this guy, he chose to use a regular nylon wedge, and you're gambling. You are gambling. You're playing with fire if you're using anything that isn't going to disperse the energy across a bigger plane across that window. And I might put my wedge in there just to get it wedged open enough to put air wedges in there to open up the area enough to get my tools down there. And I think a lot of people don't know that. It does come up a lot on the channels, on the Facebook groups and stuff like that. People still don't know. You have to have that window up a couple inches, and you have to have a window guard, preferably a metal one, and using air wedges to wedge it open enough to get your tool in.
Yeah. Well, let me add to that tech tip. Okay. You come across a Bentley, you got a dual pane window. Number one, try not to go down the window, because if you don't have exactly what Vince tells you, you will break that window if you use too thick of a tool too, because you're putting a lot of pressure on there. Number two, Vince is absolutely right about using the air wedge, because if you use a window wedge, plastic window wedge, you're putting pressure on more like if you put it on one side of the window guard instead of the middle of the window guard, which it almost like you shouldn't do because now you're losing your pivot point when you go to push on the window guard. What happens? I'll give you an example. A Hyundai. The new Hyundais have dual pane windows. So you roll down the window, you put the window guard in. This is what you don't want to do. You put it in and you put the window wedge either to the left side or the right side of the window guard. Well, what happens? You're actually pushing the edge of the window guard, the metal window guard, against the edge of one of the dual pane windows, and crack.
Snap.
You just busted the window. So Vince is absolutely right about that. I like to use these really thinner shave tool, like door tools, and they work awesome for that. But you got to make sure you have enough toe or heel so you can get that leverage on there. That was a good tech tip. I think that was good.
Yeah, and it's common knowledge to a seasoned vet, but it's not. There's still people that don't know, and it does come up quite a bit. So I wanted to throw that out there because I'm not too creative with my tech tips.
No, that's good. I think people do need to know that. Some of the basic things that we think that everyone knows, a lot of them don't know, as you mentioned. So
that's what I'm realizing. by phone calls from a 15-year technician today, not knowing that.
Yeah, you can't. You know what? Yeah, you can't beat them on it. So there's probably a lot of little things that we don't know. You know.
Do you have anything, Myke?
I don't think I got anything, man, because this was kind of like a spur of the moment. So I thought it was good enough. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry, guys. We won't have a lot of stuff for you. This is not the typical hour one we usually do, but hey, it was interesting.
There's only two of us.
Yeah, we don't have John Hiley. He'll go off on a tangent on something, and then you got Daniel Grom will talk about one of his tools that he bench grinded. So
and then it'll pull the Weekend at Bernie's for 5 minutes and freeze up on camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that. And I do want to remind people, I know John makes fun of me, but we do have t-shirts for sale. And we do take our team here of John Hiley and Daniel Grom and Mike Toledo and myself. We do take a lot of time out of our day to work on these podcasts. And it's all fronted by the money coming out of our pockets. So I do ask you, if you can afford it, shirts are $18 and shipping is minimal, and we'll get them out to you right away. Please help us out. Yeah,
you guys. Hey, listen, I hope you guys all had a great, fantastic 4th of July. If you have not joined Dent Trainer, you should check it out. We've been doing some awesome tutorials. Peep it out. And listen, you guys, don't do anything I wouldn't do twice. Go ahead, Vinny. Go ahead. What's up?
And don't forget to level up your tools and join the revolution.
There you go. Hey, we are out of here, guys. We are out of here.